Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm a minute late. You won't believe it. As I was pressing the button to go live, my Explain crashed for the second time today. So I'm busy quickly looking at the log. Basically, it says I'm running out of memory. Okay. I have not really discerned whether we're talking VRAM or normal memory, but there's a lot of issues, and there's a lot of issues. Obviously, this is the latest beta, so all this kind of nonsense coming up now with prefab and Mr. X and all kinds of weird things. And there you see it's talking about the memory, CSL models. It seems that this beta, I'm accusing that solely because this is the thing that changed. This is the new thing on my system. It seems that it's created quite a bit of conflict on my system. So in order for me to actually use it, I'm going to do quite a few things here quickly. This is Xorganizer for those of you that don't know. Let's just go to video only, then you can see the whole screen. I'm going to just alleviate all the possibilities. And we're going to go and, well, we can use that one. That's fine. Let's get rid of anything and everything that might look or be suspicious. Prefab people. So let's get rid of that. Morning, Tommy. Morning, Geert. Morning, James. That's about how far I want to go. No, we don't need them either. We need global airports. Oh yes, I'm gonna go one step further. I'm in fact gonna go disable EHAM stuff, because that in itself is a crappy piece of software, and they haven't fixed it ever, and I don't think they will. I've got no confidence in them ever coming back to explain. So there's going to come a good morning where I'm just going to disable it and forget I ever had it, unfortunately. So let's do that, and then at least we can also use the better pushback through the EFP and the Zibo, and we don't have that crash out. That's about it. Let's have a look. See. Morning, Andy. Right. Let me just close my sound recognition and reopen that one. Speech recognition, and let's start to explain. Okay, so after yesterday's stream, I received some comments on YouTube, one in particular where somebody was telling me, one of you guys were telling me how you do your planning. And I said, if I remember, and clearly I have, I'm going to show you how I actually do my flight planning, okay? So I don't mind the other guys can depart and go do their thing. I might, in fact, not even go onto ATC today, just to alleviate some more stress, because I've had one hell of a morning. It's not been fun. It's actually funny now that I sit back and I think of everything that went wrong this morning. It was so funny. So let's do that. I'll skip the ATC and I'll just join the guys on the other side when we get there. And hopefully this thing works now. Because with this new beta, I mean, it could be a problem with the AMD graphics drivers as well. It could be a couple of things. But I started seeing issues with memory pressures and especially VRAM in the previous version of Explain already. And I had to, pull back my sliders quite a bit. So we'll see. Sky Active Media, good morning. Nice to see you guys already all up and waiting for the stream. I hope I can help you this morning. Vaughan, up until this morning, I didn't notice an issue. Okay, so if you watch from the beginning of this video, you'll see my concerns and stuff. That's up to you, buddy. I would recommend that you have a second copy of Explain, and I do have my second copy still in place. If push comes to shove, I can always move over to that one. I haven't fired it up in a while, so I'm not sure, what's working, what's not working, what's updated, not updated, but at least it's not on the latest beta. So have a second copy, man. Fly the beta until you get issues like me. If I have to go back, that's going to be an easy switch. If you have to go back when you already overwrote the one single copy that you have, that might be a little bit more difficult, time consuming. You won't believe it. I'm going to have to crash myself out now. I just remembered I've got this little bar at the top that's open. And when that thing is open, you can't start to explain on my system. A little bit stupid. I see the broadcasting software still remembers it was open, cool, but it's closed my side. Gents, I'll be with you in a second. I need to quickly just call my wife. Okay, I'm back. Good morning, Christer. Christer, I have a question for you. When my explain starts up, I get an error because of the default APT file. And I remember you talked about it. Look there, top right, you see there. Is this what you were talking about because of that Robert Mugabe airport, that we're going to have to get a update on the APT DAT file? The library needs to be updated. Is this what you were referring to? That's the question. Because I click it, it goes away, there's nothing, no major harm. It's just, I'm curious. Hello, Tommy. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate your support. Right. Every time I came outside, the moment I go like this,
Nice to see you
that twice this morning it died. So now this is the default scenery. Hope this works better now. Christer, I've closed it. Sorry, that was too fast on me. Wait, I'll go to the log file. Good morning, Carl. Nice to see you. How are you doing? Just looking for it in the log file for you quickly. Huh? Why can't I see it in the log file? It's usually such a huge, big message. Yeah. Display capture. So that's it. What I'll do is I'm going to quickly just take a screenshot for you. I'll pass on the screenshot. Didn't think. Oh, hang on. Okay, there it's actually giving a different airport. It says that it is listed as an airport with ATC but contains only seaplanes or helipads. I wonder if that's the problem. I don't know. Look, I'm going to screenshot it. I'll put it in a private message for you. But ever since I loaded the new Explain Beta, that message has come up. Let me just find here my messages quickly. So I was thinking maybe that's got something to do with what you said. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Right, let's start Penny overlay here again. There you go. There's that little bar back up. Right, so Gents, I'm just going to take a few minutes to answer the user as I promised him yesterday, so just bear with me. I'm just going to run through the way I do all my flight programming and setup and stuff. So get my edge and everything sorted. Make sure I can see all my windows. But in fact, I'm going to go back to this view. It's just easier without all those bars in the way. And there's Navigraph. Right. Morning, Rob. Right. Okay. So we've got that. Okay. Right. Now let me drag my VA stuff across. Okay. Right, so morning, Andy. Jet Power, not sure if I said hello to you. I know I said morning to Rob. Thank you so much. Right, so for me to show you how I do it, let's start with the VA. Okay, so obviously you might have a different way of getting your flights, but at the end, we're all going to end up with some brief. So in our virtual airline, we have this page where we obviously just have to choose the aircraft we're going to fly. It comes up with automatic on the runways, and it gives us a basic, flight route. In our database, we've got like 6,000 flights. It's a mega load of flights, and they don't all stay current. Okay, Eurocontrol, the FAA, whoever else, even our guys here, they all go and change these routes and waypoints and things for whatever reason. That's why we have the different AIRAC cycles that come out 13 times a year that you need to stay ahead of. So in this instance, I know this is a valid flight route according to Eurocontrol. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to physically make a copy, and then I'm going to move over to Navigraph. And the reason I do this is, like I said on one of my previous streams, is I'm a bit of a control freak. I want to know that it's done right. I don't want to leave it up to chance. Somebody that doesn't know what they are doing, who influenced SimBrief, and obviously then SimBrief is incapable yet at this time. Maybe when they bring AI into the equation, they'll be clever enough to discern the correct runways. All right, so I don't want to leave it to chance. I don't want to leave it to an unqualified person. I'll make my flight plan myself. So I start like this, and as you can see, I've already made the plan, but let's make a new one so you guys can just follow from the beginning. So we're going to fly from EHAM. We're going to fly to LSGG, and then I go here to the very top, and all I do is I paste my route. So you can get this route from anywhere. It doesn't matter. You can even use the SimBrief one if you're happy with it. That's it. It might actually be the same one, which is good luck for you on that day. So we press enter, and there you go. There's your basic flight route. Right, from here on, we're going to select the actual runways that are in use. To get the runways in use, there are a couple of ways of doing it. When the ATC is online, typically they actually tell you which runways are in use. And I know in my previous version they did. So I'm not sure why this is not coming up, but we'll get there. We'll work it out. We'll make a plan, all right? So if ATC does not tell us, then obviously the wind need to tell us, all right? And then so we can quickly scroll through here, and we can have a look. 24 has got a headwind. It's got a bit of a crosswind component. 27, that looks like a good one. But then, again, taking it one step further, I'm pretty sure there will be some other SOP in the information somewhere here that's going to tell us which runways are used, which runways are not. So just for the sake of time, I'm not going to go read through all of this, because it could literally be on, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wherever. It can be anywhere in here, right? So I'm going to skip that. And what I'm going to do is I'm mindful of the fact that I'm going to fly online. There are other people that might have done something similar, or we've got to take people into consideration. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. But let's go to Radar Box. Okay, so I don't use Flight Radar 24. I use Radar Box. It's easy enough to go. Wrong one. Forgot I didn't put it in. Yeah. I'm going to go search EHAM. I'm going to go see what are the guys doing in the real world. Because inevitably, whether you're flying on Iveo or you're flying on VATSIM, typically what's going to happen is the controller is anyway going to come up and he's going to look at what the guys are doing in the real world, or he's going to follow his SOP, which is probably linked to what's going on here, you know. So we've got to find some common base to set up the runways in use. So unfortunately, we have to obviously just have a look around. There seems to be a guy taxiing. Is that a runway? Yes, that's a runway. Did he land or is he taking off? Let's have a look, see. Yeah, he's taking off. So that runway obviously is in use for takeoff. Right. We've got other runways in use, but that one seems to... Okay, so which one is that? That's a good question. Let's just minimize this thing and go back to our charts. And we can see it's runway 24. There's runway 24. So what we're going to go do is we're obviously going to go click on the runway 24. We're going to find it. Okay. So before we move off the subject, I just want to mention to you, don't take real world as gospel. For the simple reason that ATC might override the SOP. Other users on your network that you're flying with might not agree with you, and the ATC that you're flying with might not agree with you because you're flying in a different world. You're literally flying in a different world. You're not in the real world. You're in the Explain world. You're in the Microsoft 2020 world. You're in the P3D world. You're in a different world. So you guys must just be careful. It's okay to go and say, thumbsuck, yes, let's take the real world. But if the virtual world does not agree for whatever reason, just make sure you don't create a problem for other people because you thought you were clever, eh? All right, you might not be that as clever as you think on that moment for a very valid reason down the line. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just trying to say there could be a difference. Then, okay, we've got runway 24. So now we can select our departures. We've got quite a few departures, all right? So we've got that one. And obviously, it's easy enough to just click on the actual departure to see. So, I mean, I'm not going to go into great detail and study why the one, why not the other one. Let's take the first one. Here we go. Here's our first one. All right, so there's our set. Now we're going to go to the other side. We can see, just based on this, there's a 1 knot nose or tailwind, which means that it's much of a muchness. 5 knots or below is considered winds calm. You won't even see the wind register on your ND or in your aircraft if it's not 6 knots or above. That's how calm the wind is. So it's much of a muchness, but because that one is all green, and I can virtually guarantee you, if you go and read the SOPs and everything, they will probably use that as a default runway. Maybe, maybe not, but yeah, I can virtually guarantee you. So let's just take that one. And again, I mean, yes, we can go back and we can actually go check real world. Let's just do that just for the fun of it, right? And then obviously we take into consideration that if ATC comes online, they might override it. All right, so look at that. Look at that. It looks like they are landing from that side. So what does that side mean? Let's go look at our little chart. Let's see. What is that runway? Aha, believe it or not, it's runway 22. So now you can decide, again, it's up to who's flying online with you. Is the controller online? What is the SOP? Etc., etc. But for our instance here, we might select 22. Why not? Oops, that's the wrong one I chose for. We want to go 22. It's going to kick that one out. I know this morning we all agreed when we were sitting together that we're going to use 04. So there's 10 guys definitely going to use a different runway there. Let's go have a look. See, there's only one arrival there, which is that one. So click once. All right, so that takes us that way, and that brings us to Do we really want that?
How's it going, Nico?
Yeah, it's going well, thank you. I'm busy just doing my flight planning here. And now I clicked the wrong button because I want to go back there. All right, this has drawn it funny, but it will probably not look this way when we go into the FMC, because basically all we want is we want to start the ILS from that waypoint that is hidden over there, whatever that waypoint would be. So cancel. Right, we'll step through and we'll check it. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we'll take one of these waypoints, but that one should be fine. Right, so now you see there's our entire route. All right, there's no discontinuities, there's nothing. We've got the runways, we've got the sets, the stars, the approaches, we've got everything. All I do now is I go and copy to the clipboard. And then I go back to my VA, or in your case, it might be SimBrief. And all I do is I paste the entire string into my flight route. All right. So it's got the airport, it's got the runway, it's got the sit, it's got the star, it's got the airport, it's got the approach. All right. That's your ILS on 22. And then all I do is I go and match it just to make sure that the message gets through to SimBrief proper. All right. I can check my alternate, and I just happen to know that Zurich is somewhere there. There you go. There's Zurich. A little bit further than I thought. But anyway, that's where Zurich is. So that's not too far. And then what I do is I make sure I've got my contingency fuel. I've got my automatic flight level is enabled, and I'm just going to use one alternate airport. I don't need more. Obviously, I need to make sure that I'm using the right aircraft template so that we get the proper performance calculations from SimBrief, and then I simply go and generate the flight, and there you can see we get exactly the same SimBrief thing running in the background. Right, so this is my SimBrief downloader. It's picked up on the fact that I made a new dispatch flight, and it's basically downloaded my FMS file as well as my XML file that I require to do all the necessary things. Okay. Okay, before we continue, let me just quickly check all your comments here. Thank you, Krista. I see the note on EHAM there. Alex, yeah, I believe it's a really fun airport. Uncle John has told me a lot about it. I'm definitely just clicking on that warning and just going past. Maybe it's related to that one stupid airport that it actually mentions there, so we can go and try fix it later. Robert Mugabe is a different story, that's right. AMS Live. Oh, yes, I think I've seen that. Yes, Tommy. In this area where we made our decision, it's supposed to have a little block. Wait. Let me put it on screen for you. Where is my Navigraph? I'm idiot. It's already there. Sorry, I'm so used to streaming in a different way. But you see there it should say departure. Okay, and in my previous version that I made yesterday, it does come up. It tells me that we need to use the departure runway 24. The other thing, look, with this new Navigraph, you can actually click on it and you can get your information. There you go. It says arrival 27 and departure 24. So it clearly tells you. You just need to know where to go and look. All right, so this is the online ATC that we have in Ivea. You know, I mean, you can see I've got that open there. It's running. So that makes it a little bit easier to find it. But I had to explain the reasoning, what I go through, that I think about when I choose my runways. It's not just a question of looking at Flight Radar 24 or Radar Box and saying, oh yeah, they use it, let's go use it. And then you've got 10 other guys flying differently because they didn't bother to check Flight Radar 24 because they know it's not the same world. It's a different world. And they might be following the actual SOP, and the discrepancy then comes in the real world. Let's say, for instance, I don't know, let's call it runway 37 just to be funny. Let's say they've got construction on runway 37, and they had to change the SOP because the SOP says 37 is the correct one to use. Now we all know there is no such thing. I'm making a joke here just to prove a point, but things like that can happen. All right, so anyway, I've got it. I've done my dispatching, and you can see here, everything is now done. I can actually look at my flight levels. I see we've got a step climb up to 310. All right, so I'm going to use 310 as my end altitude, and I'm going to have to program my FMC accordingly. All right, so if you ever wondered where it is at, it's on page 1. Right there, it gives you your steps. All right, and the Zibomod does not discern that yet, so it doesn't support it outright. You have to manually change that if you're going to use your XML file to set that stuff up for you. All right, and then all that I need to do is I need to start my ACARS so that I can actually track and log my flight. All right, then how did I click so miss? I dragged it, clicked again, and I clicked the background. Hi. All right, so there, I've logged in. I've started my flight there. Let's look at the next comment. Dreaded pilot, you're right. Real world comes with no TAMs. Real world comes with a dispatcher that is professionally employed and paid to do the dispatching. The pilots don't do that. There are many different ways and things, that are implemented in the real world to make it easier. Okay, so in the flight sim world, you've got 3 different kind of pilots. You've got the guy that just does not care or don't have the necessary skill to make a good flight plan himself. He doesn't have the product knowledge to use a product like Navigraph, desktop charts, whatever, the entry-level guy. He's happy. He flies point A to B. He couldn't care less. He probably does not even fly online. So the runway is going to be absolutely irrelevant for him, and he might, hear from somebody down the grapevine, oh, you have to take off into the wind and land into the wind, and that's his basic knowledge. That's his skill level. He does that. Then you've got your intermediate guys that are now using desktop charts and SimBrief in combination, but they don't know about SOPs. They don't know about flying online, or they don't care about this and that and the other, So it's one step better, but so what? It's one of those things. And then you obviously get guys like me that are totally over the top, that want to do things, crazy, realistic, and then this is just my way of thinking about it, and then you take it as it comes, and you have to improvise. You have to make sure that your knowledge meets practicality and that it's usable. And like I said, this morning we all decided together we're going to use runway 4 as the landing runway. So the only reason I changed it here is because Radar Box said that it's not the one in use. That is obviously based upon the real-world ATC. When we fly down there and some ATC guy on Iveo decides, ooh, that looks nice, there's 10 guys coming in there, let's put up ATC, he might change it back to 4, and then I have to change it in the air. It's one of those things. Good morning, Scotsman. You want me to read the whole OFB? I'll quickly read through it. It's going to take me another couple of minutes, but you guys will need coffee first. But anyway, that's one way of doing it. Now, I just want to show you something. The way I did it, obviously, it already contains runways, sit stars, all those things, right? There's another way now we can do that. Because we dispatched from the VA through SimBrief. You all saw the little dispatch happening. And because we now actually have a live flight in SimBrief, we can actually do the following here as well. We can unload this flight that we made just now, right? And then we can actually go and import the flight from SimBrief. And I'll show you why this might be something that some of you might like, okay? The reason I do this is because I get this button, View SimBrief, okay? Now, I don't usually do this because I've got my SimBrief somewhere else, but if you guys want to do this, just have a look. I mean, this is really cool. Now I can click on View SimBrief OFP inside of Navigraph desktop charts, and there we have it. So it's slightly better, bigger writing for us guys that are on the glasses stage already in our lives, it helps to see better. So this is a different way of doing it, but look here, now you've lost your approach. It's easy enough to just go and put the approach back in. All right, but I just wanted to show you this so that you guys are aware of what is happening, okay, and the different ways of doing it. Okay, like I said to the person in the comment yesterday, it doesn't matter if you start with SimBrief, then go desktop charts, or if you start in desktop charts, then go to SimBrief, and I've taken it one step further. I've gone back to SimBrief, It's a to and fro, ping pong thing. The journey is not really that important. It's the fun part, I suppose. But as long as you get the same result at the end of the day, who cares? You can start with SimBrief, end with desktop charts, start desktop charts like me, end up with SimBrief. I've literally given you in this video and in yesterday's video options, and there's no right and wrong here. It's an opinion or it's your desire. Some people find it easier working the one way than the other way, and that's fine. Now you know. Just for charts, exactly, Alex. My old tablet is so old, it's struggling, man. I can't use it anymore. I did a factory reset on it, and even with that, I don't know, in time, it seems it's just degraded. It's really bad. Thank you, Scotsman. Okay, so let's do it this way. For the new guys, for the guys really looking for the information. Scotsman, I think you opened a can of worms here that might be very worthwhile today. I'll tell you where I get certain informations as I program it, but let's just give you the overview, okay? So for us, the first thing that is very important is the step climbs, if there are any, all right? So you can see 290, 310, and 1900, okay? That highest one is the one we're going to use in our planning. All right. We are also then going to look at our FinRes plus alternate. This final reserve plus alternate, that is something that you need to type manually into your FMC. Okay. So I'm going to base everything I show you on using airside services and the XML Zibomod file import, the uplink. But that one is important, and that one is really important, okay? The rest, Zibo is clever enough, the Zibomod's clever enough because Zibo made it that way that it will read this file for you and it will extract what it needs in certain pages, okay? Right, I think I've covered everything there. If you need to ask something, guys, please feel free. I'll give you a second to think about it. If you want to ask something, and then we can start setting up. What about the note time, Scotsman? I mean, if we were real pilots flying in the real world, I know it would be very important. But for us simmers in the sim world, it's not really that important. It's nice to have, nice to see, but I just noticed something. It never pinned this actual chart for us for some reason. Why would it not pin it? This is after the import. You see, it's got all the others, but it doesn't have that one pinned. That is not nice. That is a problem. You see, when I do my planning, when I do the manual thing, it will obviously populate the SID for us as well. That's the good 3 is Y. I don't see a good 3S is Y. Yeah, oh, but it is. That's so strange. Not sure what, I mean, that's probably just a bug in the code for not putting it there. But anyway, yeah, now it's there. Thank you, Tommy. Don't worry, Scotsman, I won't blame you. Christer, you're welcome. If you want the note times, if you want to dive in there and go read up and check, you're more than welcome. Jet power, that's so crazy. That's so crazy because literally when I did the manual planning, it actually puts it there. So anyway, I'm not going to complain. Let's move on. Let's go back to explain. There you go, Scotsman. We'll order the coffee so long and wait while we wait. So anyway, I'm going to move this out of the way for myself now because you don't even see it anymore. Let's move it, get it out that way. Yeah, so like I said, because I have been doing this tutorial thing, I'm just going to skip the ATC. I'm just going to get going, set it up, let it go. Okay, so let's quickly have a look. See, there is Navigraph. No, I'm back on the right screen now, you see. So let's see what it looks like on screen when we have both of them running. It's a bit big. Just going to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, I hope you guys can still see. Because then we can, kind of show 2 or more things at the same time. Hello, Jean-Pierre. Goeiemorgen. Okay, so first things first, I need to get into a habit, and that's why I'm saying it to you guys as well. Make sure your parking brake is set. After one of the updates, I found that it didn't set it. I had to go and reset it myself. So anyway, it's very important that that thing is set. Okay. I always start my Zibomod. It's been pre-configured in the settings that my chocks is always on for the very reason that, if I forget about that little paddle over there, we don't start running away here. So chocks is always set. My next step is to switch on the battery and the emergency exit, go for ground power, and I do the ASU because I've got that script that Antonio made that complains about temperature if you don't do it. So that's my basics. All right, and then we can actually wrong one. Where's this thing? Navigraph. We'll come back to that one just now, so I can just close my. What is this one? That's actually not having an effect. Okay, so then we put on the ground power. Once we know that we've got life in the system, it's easy enough to start from somewhere. Now, if you follow the actual checklist, it's going to do it in a slightly different format. Don't see this as a tutorial. I'm not doing it in a specific format, but I like to get my hydraulics going. All right, if you don't have enough hydraulic, goodness, if you don't have enough hydraulic pressure, if that doesn't go into the green, your brakes won't work. All right, so basically this thing is now pumping the hydraulics, getting everything primed. We've got the hydraulic cylinder that needs some fluid as well, so that's why we do that. Thank you. All right, so that's the first thing I do. The second thing I do, and this is just because of that script, is I switch my air starter unit. Obviously, it's not the way it's done in the real world, okay? So just remember that as well. But I just make sure that I get some air in there so I don't have to start the APU so that, the guys, that script doesn't complain about the cabin temperature. Okay. Rest is much of a muchness. Now we can start switching on. This is our window heat. Very important to get that on. That's our air circulation. And in the real aircraft, I know Sasso said they just changed those to one notch each. I can put on the lights if I want to or not, and then I go for my IRS alignment. And very important, you see this big knob over there, if you turn it twice or three times to the right, it actually gives you the display how long it's going to take for the alignment to happen, so you don't have to guess and sit and wait and worry. You can just turn that knob until you see it. All right, if we go look at it slightly differently, you'll see I turned it onto HDG STS, and that's how I can see what is the time left. All right, and then because we have the little white lights here saying that we are busy doing the alignment, I can actually go and switch on my yaw damper. Yaw damper will not switch on unless you are busy with the alignment happening, or it's done. So that's very important. Right, and then let's go check our OFP quickly. I'm just going to use the Navigraph because it's larger. You can read it easier. So we know we want to go up to flight level 310, right? So we're going to put 310 there. Then obviously if ATC instructs us differently, we're going to change that. Then on Navigraph again, all I do is I go check my airport elevation. So I go to the airport chart, and the airport elevation is 1,411. Which will be 1,400 for us. Right, so this takes care of our pressurization system. We don't touch the other knobs and things, okay? Just going to leave it as that. And then we can actually go and start our airside services. All right, for those of you that don't know what airside services is, it's basically an automated process of loading the aircraft. All right, so if we go into airside services, we go to fuel weight and balance, airside services, next page. We load that OFP. It's going to read that Zibo XML file that we got from SimBrief. We can then actually just do it this way. Navigraph again. Go to our SimBrief, and then what we want to do is over here. See the packs, 173. Just to make sure we've got the right one, you'll see their packs, passengers 173. And then we can just activate that. All right, so if we go to the outside now, you'll see there's your jetway coming. This is all automated now. The jetways will come, or the steps will come, and you'll see the refuel truck is going to come driving up just now. And then you'll start to see as the, let's call it a theater piece, a pageant, whatever, as it plays along, everything is going to happen automatically. There you go. There we have our catering trucks. There's the fuel truck coming. I'm just showing you this so that the guys that haven't seen it or don't understand it just get a better grasp of it, okay? So there's our loaders, baggage loaders now as well. And you'll see all the doors will start to open now. All the required doors will open. There's the baggage opening. And there's the door opening. We unfortunately don't have that little guy that walks in and out, you know. Scotsman, I'm sure it can be animated, but is it really necessary to take Zibo out of circulation and ask him to go do it while he's busy with other stuff? I don't know. That's probably the biggest question. Right, back in the aircraft, we can go back one page, and there you can see now it's busy loading what it's busy doing, and we can then go ahead and, you know, do whatever else we need to do. Maybe get the ambience correct, you know, make it a little bit more romantic. Yeah, you know, nighttime it will have more value, but you know what I mean. So there we go. I'm gonna go to 1000 just in case we do go online, which I'm not planning, but anything's possible. Right, and while everything is now happening in the background, we can take our sweet time and just start setting up the FMC. Right, so because we've got both the FMS and the XML file downloaded from SimBrief, we can choose if we want to do the company route, then fill in all the data manually, you know, in terms of weights and performance and all those things, or we can just do the uplink and we can request it from that XML file. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, a 10-pounder, you know, I think it should do the trick. One or two whacks. Right, so now we're going to click on load, activate and execute. It's easy as that. All right, so now we've got our basic information. If we go to our departure and arrival, you'll see it's preloaded. All right, there it tells us 24 is loaded, and there is our SID as well. I'm just clicking on it. You can already see it's active. It's not changing it by clicking on it, just to, you know, cut out the fluff, the other stuff. And if we go to our arrival, the only thing the XML does not give you is the arrival runway. But if you actually scroll through, you'll see it gives you your star. All right, once you click on the star, it makes it easy. Now it gives you two options instead of multiple options. Now all we do is we select 22. And then again, just going back to Navigraph. Wait, we can see it over here. There we can see it's the correct star. And there we can see on the approach we've got Sapphire, so we want to have the transition Sapphire active here as well. Okay, and we're going to execute it. We're going to go to the next page, and then we're going to go to plan mode, and we're going to just step through and make sure that everything is as expected. Right, there you go. There is your last waypoint. Zoom in a little bit more. GG514, it's a beam Sapphire, so if there is a vector, I'm just going to take it out. Yeah, there's a vector. I'm going to close the loop and execute it, and then we don't have to worry about vectors. Then we have a full flight. Scotsman, they do. They actually do. I did ask the question, and they do. And the reason is it's because of performance calculation. If you do not close your loop okay, you will not get the exact correct performance calculations because you've got an open-ended end. So what they do is they put it in and then they change it later. I did in fact check with a couple of them already. Because that's a very valid question. But they do. It's easy enough to change it. Right, so we know that we can step through quickly. There is the rest. We're only moving one way. The moment you see that thing jump back like that, you need to ask yourself why. Now we know it's because that's part of the go-around. Okay.
Fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
All right, just had my daughter here for a second. Right, okay, so we know that's part of the go-around. We're not worried about it. But if that thing jumped back and it wasn't part of the actual go-around, then you're going to have to go step by step through your actual waypoints and make sure that you don't have a double entry or that the order is incorrect. Like, for instance, Lisbon. Okay, how many people have not complained over the years? The Zibo can't fly this approach because it turns around 180 degrees just as we go on approach. It's got nothing to do with Zibo. It's got to do with this. If your information here is bad, the aircraft can only do what you tell it to do. You need to fix that. Scotsman, I don't think I've ever done it except when we did flight testing, when it was important to check altitudes and to make sure it's right. Because remember, at the end of the day, your SimBrief OFP is based upon pre-flight calculations. You know, anything can happen in the real world and it's going to be off. So you don't want to create a point of, you know, where you can put yourself into a depressed mode. You know, depression is a bastard. You don't want to go there. Don't go and try and match altitudes at every waypoint or speeds and things like that, because you're going to end up depressed sometimes. The big thing is you need to move forward the whole time. The moment your eyes should pick it up. The moment that thing jumps back, you need to go and fix it. And obviously if there's discontinuities and things like that. So this is very important. Rob, yeah, look, you guys must also tell me if there's something specific you want me to talk about, okay? This whole stream today, this entry, is based upon someone's request and discussion from yesterday, okay? And I hope a lot of other people have now benefit from it. But you guys are welcome to let me know, you know, to do it more frequently. Right, the one thing we have not done, by the way, is the weather. Now, I switched off my xEnviro because of all the crashes that I've been having, just to eliminate that as part of it. The crashes that I'm getting, by the way, if I haven't mentioned it, I think I did, is because of VRAM memory going under pressure. I basically run out of VRAM. Whether that's an AMD problem, you know, based on what X-Plane gives it, Zink, you know, I don't know. But anyway. All right, so I can go either way. I can go explain real weather. Oh, now I'm in the wrong page. Let's go explain real weather. Flight configuration. Let's get the real weather. Thank you, Jet Power. Where's the magenta flashing a bit? The only reason I know of that the magenta flashes is because there could be a, what do they call it? Let me just get the name. Conditional waypoint somewhere. And then what happens is the calculation gets done every, you know, split second. And then because of the recalculation, it gives that funny thing. Let's just see if we can actually see it. If it is a conditional waypoint. No, it's not. No, I don't know. But that should be, in my opinion, based upon the calculation, recalculating the path. Yeah, exactly. As you get closer and the math gets more precise, you know, things change. Right, so EHAM. Let's get our information for EHAM. So Noah. Ooh, now I need to get closer. You see my old eyes sitting too far back. Okay, 855 versus 825. You see, look, it's the explainer weather is old compared to that one. How do we know which one to use? We need to use the actual explain one, so we can just double check quickly, make sure this thing works. So what we want to do is just click on the airport. The QNH is 992. When you check on your map like this and you click on your airport, go to details, what you see here, this is what X-Plane is experiencing in the X-Plane world, and this is what the Zibomod or whatever aircraft you are flying is going to experience. And then if we go back there, this is vitally important that we understand the difference. You will see there the QNH is 1010 in the real world, and the QNH there, even in explain real weather, it's reported differently, which is one of those reasons I absolutely hate this explain weather, because if they can't get something so simple correct, how do you fly a proper RNAV? See, it doesn't make sense. Where's 1010? It just see, and this is why it drives me to a third-party weather app, because yuck, man. Sky Active Media, bear with me. I'm going to show you. I'll talk you guys through the programming of the FMC. Then you'll see exactly where to put it. So I've just disabled the real weather. I'm going to start up my Active Sky. And while I'm starting up Active Sky, I'll also show you how to force Active Sky to actually put the correct barrow reading in there. Because that's one thing that Active Sky is also really bad at. It struggles initially to put the correct altimeter setting in there. So let's bring it on screen here. Right, so there's Active Sky. I highly recommend always go to flight plan. It's easy enough to just click SimBrief, but now you've got to do the same thing. Okay, you've got to manually go and change your cruise altitude, and then what you need to do is click refresh. So that the reason we do this is we want the weather more accurate. Okay. Right, so the refresh now goes gray, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to map, and we can click on lock to the aircraft, and there you can see it's got the actual route, everything in there for you. Now, before I jump in and show you how to force the barrow, I'm just going to let it stand for a minute. Let's continue with the FMC, and we'll come back to this little widget as well later on. And then the reason I want to do this is I want the weather to settle. Okay. For those of you that are familiar with Active Sky, some of you would have noticed that it takes a good minute or two for the weather to really stabilize and find itself, you know. So let's just continue this side. So our next step is going to be route. We're going to go back to the route page, then perf init. Right, now over there you see reserves, Sky Active Media. There it says reserves, but we're not going to put it in initially. What we're going to do is we're going to upload the information from Navigraph. SimBrief. Same company, but you know what I mean. Right, so we're going to just request the information, and then we're going to click load. Right, okay, so there it's loaded everything for us, and you can see now two discrepancies. You see reserves is open, So if we now go back to Navigraph. Well, I'm looking for my OFP, not so much Navigraph, but it's Navigraph is displaying my OFP. Damn it! I hope I don't confuse you guys. Let's just move this thing out that way quickly. All right, so we were talking about FinRes earlier, so we just have to scroll up a bit. So there we have it. It's 2630. That's our final reserves plus alternate field is 2630. So what I usually do is I just round it. So we're going to use 2.6 because it's below 50. And anything above the 5 goes up, anything below the 5 goes down. So we're just going to use 2.6 within our reserves. And then remember our step climb. Our step climb, we're going to end up at 310. And the Zibomod picks up 290 because it's the first one. See, Zibo hasn't changed the code yet. Hopefully one day soon. You know, he's going to look at what the actual top is going to be. So in our case here, it's 310. So we're just going to add 310. All right, and execute. Once it's executed, we can go to the next page. I'm not going to fiddle with this really today, and then we're going to go flaps 5, and we can do our V speeds. Okay.
Ready for pre-flight procedure.
Now this is very, very important. Very important. You cannot select the CG now. If you do this, your trim is going to be out. I've seen it on the forum, I've seen it on Facebook, I've seen it on Discord. The guys complain about a dead band this and a dead band that. Yeah, I have to add extra trim, and it's a whole long story. The reason it does this is because this is the actual CG percentage at this moment. We have not completed the loading of this aircraft. Once the passengers are in and the doors are closed and locked, the CG will change, it will differ. Okay, so the one thing that airside services does not do, and this was also based upon real world procedures and request, is it is not going to load your packs, all right, until you set your chime switch to on. See this one over here? So I've got it on my buttons on my yoke. So I switch on the chime. See, the error goes away. Yes, Scotsman, 100% correct. I just don't want to confuse the guys too much now. We'll keep it simple. When we do another big tutorial, we can go into plant fuel. So there you go. There, the packs are now boarding. All right. There you can see now that we've got our extra steps. The doors should open at some time. Should is the operative word. I'm not going to wait around for that. Packs will start to load. There you can see your packs loading. So once we hit 100%, you're going to hear Trish come in. She's going to tell you she's ready to go, whatever her message is there. She's going to close the cabin door behind her. This door that's going to be there. And at that point in time, you can go and you can actually set your trim. Because as you're loading, look, it's 23.9, 23.2. It's going to change the whole time as it's loading. Because right now, the code is now taking all the passengers, you know, saying you sit row A1, you sit in row G4. You know, you understand what I'm saying? It's now spreading them. It's now loading. It's now physically changing the CG in the aircraft. Thanks, Jet Power. You know, I've never used that side of SimBrief, any of these calculations and things like that. I'm just quickly reading through the note items here at the bottom. Yeah. Again, if that's something that excites you, please feel free to do it. You know, it is not something that I particularly am fond of. Excellent. Yeah. As long as you're happy. Okay, so while this thing is loading, just gonna have another rust quickly. Just had to check that I actually did. I recall I did, but I wasn't 100% sure all of a sudden. I just needed to make sure we're on manual weather, so active sky can. All right, we're almost there. Rob, yes, I'm going to talk you through it now. See, you can hear the doors are closing. Right. Okay, there you go. All right, I think Trish is only going to come in once we do one of our next steps. Okay, so fine. There you go. She's just been there. You should have heard her now. Sorry, she's very soft on my side. So there you go. She's done her thing. We're closed. Now, if you go look there, look, we were on 22.9. Look now. Now we're on 21.2. So there you get the correct trim now. Okay. So you have to wait for the packs. All of these things needs to be done. Then you will get your correct trim. And now you can either manually set it or like me. I mean,
Trim up.
see, now Linda can go and set the trim. See, now if you take off, what you're going to have is a much more realistic kind of a takeoff because you've got the trim in the correct place. Right. Okay, before we go on, let's finish the story about the weather. Right, so now you're sitting there comfortably. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So I highly recommend that you do the following steps. All right, just to make sure that the marriage between Active Sky and Explain is actually true and correct. Okay, so if you go and look, the expected QNH at this airport at this point in time is 1010. Okay. Now, for the argument's sake, I'll bring it back just now and I'll show you how to force it. Let's just go have a look-see. Let's see what it did in Explain. Did it actually give Explain the correct information? Yes, it did. 1010. Okay. So we can reasonably safely say that Active Sky is talking correctly. But, again, I'm a control freak. I want to make sure. So if you have a discrepancy, if you check on your map and you don't have the same thing, this is how you fix it. You click debug and you click refresh weather. Okay, so you can see now Active Sky is going through all the motions and it's physically going to reset, well, refresh the weather. And it will then, we're going to check it on the map again. It will then be 100% certain that it is talking, is doing the right thing at the right time. There we have 1010. So it's going to take a minute or so just to rebuild all the clouds and do its things, but we can continue and come back to it just to make sure. Before we push, we're going to make sure that we have the correct QNH and that it's stuck and that it's actually where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to continue now. We want 149 on our speed. So let's go put 149. See there, V2 is 149. Click progress. So we get out of there and we can now just set up the rest of the aircraft. You didn't see it. Sorry, I forgot I was looking too low. That bar cuts it off a bit. So auto throttle on. First fly director, second fly director. We want to go up to 310, we said. Right, that's 310. And let's go and grab our navigraph again. This is very important. Let's see if we can move this thing a little bit, just slightly, something like that. Right, the next thing we want to do is we want to see what is the actual heading. So the actual heading of the runway is 237. And then we go and set that. Because you need to take off runway heading, and then you have your bug in the right place, you know, everybody's happy. Right, we've got that, we've got that, we've got that. For thorough sake, we're going to just put 237 on all the dials. So the course heading will be 237 as well. All right, both flight directors are on. And we can put this one away again. Where's navigraph? Yes, navigraph is off. Okay. Mr. Boeing then says, if you have a SID connected to your runway, you can do the following test. You can switch on VNAV and LNAV, and it basically goes into like a standby mode. If you get your green lights, you know that you executed and configured your FMC correctly. If it does not, it will either be a problem in the FMC, so you have to review everything you did in the FMC, or you forgot your second flight director. If your second flight director is not on, VNAV won't light up. There's no VNAV for you. Right, so that's why it's important to have the correct settings. All right, so it's going to have zero effect on you if you leave it like that. I know a lot of guys have different standard operating procedures. Some switch it off, some not. This is your test. You can switch it off, switch it on before you take off. I just leave it on because I know everything is correct. Right, we can switch on RTO, wait for the red light to go out. That's perfectly fine. And then another thing, I like to configure Linda's side because she's not clever enough to do it. You know, we're still training her. So I'm going to switch off the captain's side. We're going to go switch on airports, zoom out once, and then switch on the terrain map. Okay. For those of you that don't know, the terrain map is not a radar. It literally reads off a database. Okay, so you're not going to fry the guy standing in front of the aircraft. So that I just switch on, and then now I can forget about it. Yeah, she's still in training. She's getting there. All right. Okay. The one thing I did not do is switch on my little compass light. So you get the click spot over there. You can just do that. We're happy. We're okay. A couple of other things. If you want to do this, because you downloaded the FMS Explain 12 format file, you can actually use the latest Avi tab and you can go and add your route. So we can go and just add our route. And then if we go to the map display, you can see it's displaying the actual route for us. Now, me personally, I like to use the Navigraph stuff. So there you go. That's our takeoff runway. That's where we are at. We're going to push back and taxi there. Okay. One note before I use the pushback. Let me actually just save a flight here in case it bombs out. When you use the default EHAM, it shouldn't bomb out like I'm using now. If you use the flight Tampa scenery, you cannot use better pushback from the Zibo EFB. There's a clash, a conflict in that scenery, and it crashes you out. Then you have to use it from here. So just for safety's sake, let's use it from here. Now I just need to catch it. It's better pushback. Pre-planned. Let's just see the layout. I think that should be fine. Scotsman, I'll be with you now.
Ground to cockpit, the plan is acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
What do you mean, does the route still show on the charts, or is that fixed? What do you mean? I'm not with you. I don't understand. The route shows on the chart. It shows everywhere. It shows everywhere. I don't know. Let's have a look. See. You're a dummy. Oh, I haven't used this in such a long time. Scotsman, just bear with me. I'll get there. Airports. Yeah. Next. There you go. So if you want to use the chart, there's your route. It shows it. I don't think they've got the annotations built into Avitab yet. So if you want to use your annotations, you know, like in Navigraph, I used it once in my life. I can't even remember how to get there. Anyway, if you want to use the annotations and draw your actual taxi route, I don't think it's going to show there. Let's see if I can figure this one out. Let's get this thing back up. Okay, help a brother out here. Where do we get this annotation thing? Oh, there's a route function over there. I suppose it's got something to do with it. I don't know. Where do we get this annotations for this thing again? How do we actually draw the lines? How do we get it? I know I've done it before, but I can't remember now. Yeah, you've created havoc. Ah, that is interesting. One would have thought it was just somewhere here. Taxi chart. Okay, that makes sense. Let's go for a taxi chart. Let's see. Maybe that is the whole trick. Oh, that's the airport chart. No, we don't want that. Where's the taxi chart? There's a taxi chart. Highlighter pen. Where do you see a highlighter pen? I don't see it. Oh, at the top. At the top. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, there you go. Alright, let me just take this thing away. Wait. Okay. You only display capture. There you go. Woo. So it's that pen over there. I just delete it. Clear. Oh no, I don't want to print it. I get rid of that thing. Delete it. Clear it. So basically, we can do something like this with our pen. And then we can say, right, we're going to taxi that way, that way, that way. Oops. And then that way. How's that? Yeah. I can read my own writing. That's all that matters. Okay, anyway. All right, so there you go. We've done some crazy things today. You know, so let's clear it. Let's go back to the normal airport shot. You guys are such fun. Right, now we can switch off that one. All right, okay, so we've now done the refresh on the weather. Let's just go back to the map, make sure that X-Plane now agrees again. There you go, 1010. All right, so now I've got confidence. My confidence is high that X-Plane and Active Sky are actually talking to each other. And they're actually doing what they're designed to do. So the clouds look crappy, but anyway, maybe that's the way it should be. We'll take it. Alex, what can I say? Right, okay, so what have we not done? We've done basically everything except for the APU. Let's trigger this APU. Let's get going. All right, and then let's call the pushback truck.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Right, keep on that page. And then we're ready to go. I swear the other guys have landed. They're having a barbecue already. Reminds me of another thing. Better put my cloud quality up a little bit because in xEnviro you don't need that. We'll see when we get closer if they look better.
Some doors are still opened or the GPU or the ASU are still connected. I'm waiting for all of them closed and disconnected, then I will proceed.
Okay, APU is on. You see, now we can do that.
Now all the doors and hatches are closed. I am ready to connect.
There you go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use that Alpha 8, I think. Alpha 8, yeah. And then we're going to go down to wherever that one is. That looks like Sierra 7. Then we're just going to go straight onto the runway. Before start procedure. Come on, Linda, show us what you can do.
And the bypass pin inserted. Go ahead and release parking brake. Okay, I am starting with the pushback. You can start the engines now.
Once Linda gives us the go, we can go. We'll start them.
Before start procedure complete.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine.
So guys, I hope that you learned something today or got your refresher that you needed. It just makes flying the Zibomod so much more fun if you just know the product a little better and how to interface between all of the different products to get to where you want to be. So I'm glad I can be of assistance with that.
25 and 2.
And Phil goes in. I did notice, by the way, Krister, if you're still with us, I did notice on Discord you said I must do a winter ops training video again. We'll get there. Yes, we do need to test it. Yes, we want to make sure that everybody understands that they're going to die or potentially die if they don't do the thing correctly in the Zibomod. So, virtually speaking, obviously, YouTube, don't go and hit me with all kinds of nonsense again. Right, start number 1 engine.
Okay, operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Excellent, excellent. We'll see what we can do in the week. Tomorrow is a bit of a pressure day for me. I just need to get through tomorrow. If I can survive tomorrow, I can breathe a little bit better again. Yeah, we need to do that high altitude tour. As we're getting closer to the end of the year, we're going to get much hotter temperatures, making it much more fun, and I'll have more time, you know, so yeah, we want to do that. I'm going to have to do it
Okay,
in the evenings, my time.
Connected and the bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left, and we will see you next time. Have a nice flight.
Thank you. Because we want to be in daytime so that it gets nice and hot there in those high, you know, Andes mountains. Excellent, Rob. Yeah, he's probably traveled a little bit, eh? That's why his accent is a little bit different. Yeah, I think you need to. Yeah, it's going to be difficult if you're in the Philippines because it will probably be around 1800 Zulu, which is about 6 p.m. my time, you know.
Captain, passengers are asking for a cozier temperature.
You see, there's that script moaning before taxi procedure. I never put the fuel in for engine 1. Oh, we didn't start engine 1. Huh? Crap. Talking too much, thinking about too many things. Abort.
All commands and checklists aborted.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine.
Sorry, Linda. Okay, jet power now, that's cool. That helps. I had my fuel switch lifted. A bit starts now. Damn it. Sabotaged myself. She switched the APU off. Ah. The APU is off. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. We've got the bleed air there. Yeah, there we go. Let's do the air start routine. There you go. There's the air starter going.
25 and 2.
Fuel. I think I might have a little bit too much thrust on engine number 1. But we want this thing to start, you know, so Just rather keep it up. There we go. Right, so we did a start there for you guys.
Engine start procedure
No APU.
complete.
Right. Before taxi procedure.
Before taxi procedure.
Nice, pull back. Put the auto throttle on again.
Before taxi procedure complete. I am ready for before taxi checklist.
Right, that's done. Should be fine. Let's go.
Ready for before taxi procedure.
Yeah. You just did it. Don't worry. Yeah. I've heard, Scotsman.
Taxi lights on. Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for takeoff.
You remind me of Zibo. A couple of years ago, we were doing go-arounds and he was busy writing updates and fixing and I was testing and we were all sitting here. I think it was actually on video as well. And then I made a mistake and he said to me, I must go read the Skymatix install guide. It was so fun. All right. Yeah, that sun's bright, eh? Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure.
Right, so I don't see any warning lights or anything. We'll do the 6-pack test now as well, just to make sure where the radar comes.
Complete.
Thank you, Linda. We've got our flaps for you.
Ready for before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Let's do it for today. Why not?
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 5, green light, detent.
Flaps 5 set. Green light. Detent.
Approaching.
Stabilizer
2,
trim.
4.
5 units set. Transponder. TARA set. Runway 24 confirm. Before takeoff checklist complete.
On runway 24.
I am ready for your takeoff.
Morning, George. Right, so my wheel is kind of looking forward. Start our clock and then we just hide this thing a little bit there. Right, we can follow that one and wait for 40% and then toga.
Stay
No, I
calm.
didn't put it in the FMC because I don't think it's real. We changed the weather, remember? So somewhere X-Plane picked up that there should be water, but there's nothing in the meter I can
Takeoff
see.
thrust set.
I'll let the aircraft just run slightly past VR, 5 knots or so before I pick up the nose. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You just have to link your Navigraph account to your Avi tab. Ooh, that wind. And then you'll be fine. Then you'll have all the Navigraph stuff in the tablet. There we go. All right. Here you go. Command A.
Acceleration altitude. Trim up.
Give me a minute or so. I'll just show you how to link it up. Okay, and then you can have it.
Approaching transition.
Autopilot. Autopilot. I must have bumped something there.
Flaps 1 set.
Yeah, these flaps up.
Transition altitude. Flaps up and set.
Yep. Goodbye, Mirai. Yeah, it's nice. Nice, nice. Anyway, that's it. So now we're climbing out and we can relax slightly. Ooh, nice, Alex.
Flight level 100. Landing lights switches off.
Right. Let the aircraft do its little climbing thing. Okay. Gents, excuse me just quickly for 5 minutes. I really need to run and do something else. Unfortunately, happens when you stream Sunday mornings and there's an emergency with the family and stuff like that. So nothing to worry about. They just need some attention. I'll be back. I'm back. Scotsman, yeah, I suppose I can change it. I'm probably going to forget if I don't do it just now. Active Media, you're welcome. Like I said, guys, I don't always know what to tell you and what to show you if you don't tell me, if you don't ask. So this whole story of this morning was based upon something somebody said yesterday. So if you want a recap or a story of some sorts, you know, when we get to land, we might as well just use, you know, the fixings as well, for instance, just to refresh you guys on that. Feel free to ask always, you know, if there's time or opportunity, we might as well accommodate that if we can. Yeah, I'm not a fan of these clouds. Being used to xEnviro, this is kind of not my cup of tea. Right, something else I can mention. While we're in this training mode, why don't we just do this as well? If you are busy climbing, you can do it later as well, but this is a good time. Lex page. If you go to Lex page route data, you can actually import the actual winds from SimBrief as well. So then you don't have to worry about the generic stuff that goes in there. They said December sometimes, sometime in December. So we're going to click load. Once it loads up, we have to execute it. Now we've got in inverted brackets, you know, maybe more accurate winds for the cruise. So the VNAV can calculate that stuff a little bit easier, better. All right, the next step will be when we are in the cruise. I'll do the descent planning early. I don't think we've got a very long flight anyway, so...
To level off.
It's interesting, I did file my flight plan. Oh, you know what it might be? We're too late. That's why the departure time is wrong, yeah. Let's see if it picks it up now. Yeah, there it's got it. Okay, so now I'm online as well. There is no ATC, so I don't have to worry about it. I took off my route page too because I never use it. You know, it's all good when you do training and things like that to show people, but I never use it. So Get off. Yeah, Scotsman, I don't think it's, you know, life and death if you don't put it in, but it's nice to know that you can and use it when you can. Yeah. Right, let's just see. Top of descent is 220 nautical miles. Okay, I'm going to wait until about 150 nautical miles. Then we can start doing the normal planning and stuff for the descent. My recommendation to you is if you are new or if you are struggling, start early. Don't wait until you're on the descent and then start thinking of planning, okay? You need to know the runways, the SIDS, the stars, the barometer pressure. You need to do your calculations and stuff all in the FMC. We'll work through it, but the bottom line is don't wait too long. Don't start too early, okay? There's no point in starting now. It's too early. But from 150 nautical miles down to, I would say, 100 would be the latest. Once you're 100 nautical miles from your top of descent, if you don't start there, you're probably going to run out of time to do it properly anyway. So that TD over there is your top of descent, and that is what I'm talking about. That's your nautical miles, okay? Yeah, exactly. Scotsman's right. If you are pressed for time, if it's a short flight, you can start in the climb already. I don't advise it for the one and simple reason. You can do everything, okay, no problem, but don't do your weights and your flap speeds and, you know, your V speeds. Don't do that while you're climbing, because once you are in the cruise, these values are going to change slightly based upon whatever happens up in there. Okay, so you can do all the rest, but don't do your weights and V speeds in the climb. Ooh, there's 183 nautical miles. We better keep our eye on it. While I'm thinking about all kinds of other stuff, let's check our weather again. Alice. Let's see. Right, so NOAA and active sky should be the same. Let's have a look, see what does active sky say. (950 Zulu, 950 Zulu, 1019, 1019. All right, so my top line is correct. Obviously, explain 12 weather is off. We're using active sky, so we don't care. We want 1019. 1019, so that goes in standby mode. And that's 174. Okay, well, I'm going to start looking at this because we don't want to run out of time. So we're going to go VNAV, next page, forecast, and then we're going to request the winds and stuff. Right, then we're going to load this. I quickly did my ISA calculation here on the side, so we know we want -4, and the QNH is 1019. Is that what we put in here? 1019, yeah. And then we can execute. Okay, so now we have our ISA deviation, we have our QNH, we have our descent winds. Right, the next thing we're going to do is go back to the progress page. Now we're going to subtract the fuel that we're going to burn. So by calculation, we're going to have 3.8 ton of fuel, but we currently have 4.9. So that's 1.1 ton of difference there, which means we need to subtract it over here from our current gross weight. So that gives us 65. That's easy. And that gives us the V speeds. We're going to use flaps 30. So that is now set. Right, you can see flaps 30 set, QNH is set. We need our minimums, and for that we're going to go to Navigraph again, and we're going to look for the minimums on the ILS 1565. This thing is fast, you've got to be careful. 1565. Alright, so let's quickly go back. Scotsman, we can look at that now. So we are at Kitan. At Kitan. Now I need to read the headings first. Fuel flood, flight level. There's Kitan. Right, so it says 4.8 and we're at 4.9 currently, and Kitan is ahead of us, so it's going to be as pretty much close as it can be. 4.9 versus 4.8. That's 100 kilograms, but we still got to fly there. So we're not there yet. Very close. That might swing over just now. There you go, 4.8 at Gitan. Perfect. Exactly as planned. How's that? You make me do crazy things today, you know. You're welcome. All right. Okay. So next thing we need to do is we need to know where we want to descend to. So that's 7,000, and then coming down at the start of the ILS, it says 4,000. So we're going to go back up, and we're going to set 4,000. That's 4,000. So the aircraft will descend. If ATC comes online, we will obviously, you know, change to whatever they want. I'm going to use auto brake 3. Then what we need to do is we need to move this Navigraph thing again. Imagine we had a big screen and we could actually move it around out of the way. Right, so there we go. So what we are going to do then is we're going to go down to the pedestal. I don't see a VOR as such here, so we're just going to focus on the ILS. So the ILS is 108.7, right? 1087, and then we can flick it. It will add the 0 itself. And just going to do it that side as well. 1087. And we're just going to flick it over. All right. So that gives us our identifier is not there yet. We can't see the identifier, but we're going to have to watch out for ISW. So it's kind of in standby now, and we're just waiting. The one thing that is wrong is the course value. We still need... Okay, no, I'm not going to worry about that now, Scotsman. We'll come back to it a bit later. We just need to set our course values because that's obviously wrong. We want to be at 223. See, there's final course is 223. I'll go check it shortly. We'll just do one thing at a time. 223. And 223. We don't change the heading yet because the aircraft still needs to fly there. Yeah, so we'll just keep following the nose. All right, that's it. And then what we also need to look out for is obviously the go-around altitude. Our go-around clearance is for 7,000 foot, so we must remember to set 7,000 foot in our altitude when it is appropriate. Okay, so coming back to our PFD, we've got standby on those details. We've got the VREF, we've got the Barrow, we've got the altimeter. That's for the minimums. That's our actual altimeter setting. Everything else looks fine, and just to appease Scotsman. Oh hell, this thing is stuck. Hold on. Let go, man. Right, let's go find that VOR. I don't see a VOR. I've got that VOR, which I don't pretty much care for. Just to have a point of reference, why don't we just set it 11145, 11145, and I just do it on the other side. You don't have to see it. Okay, so that's the only VOR I can spot. Okay, so we have some point of reference. Let's just move this thing again somewhere else. Right. I'm on the approach shot. I don't see it. I see the ILS only. I don't see an actual VOR. It's not important right now, Scotsman. What is important is to show you, maybe let's go to our inlet reference page again, and let's get that Navigraph back on screen. Let's start with Navigraph, and then we can tell you a little bit more. Right, so if you click on this button next to your runway, that one, that's for the departure, obviously, and this is for the arrival. It obviously gives you your weather. So if you don't know how to read the METAR, just scroll down. It will tell you in normal English what it's all about, okay? But basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for stuff like rain and things like that. Because we don't have that, and now I've got to move this thing again. Anyway. Because we don't have any rain or things like that, if you want to, this is optional, but it's nice to have as well. You can literally go to the next page and you can set your runway condition, just like we can do with the takeoff. We can set this one, and we can also, if need be, we can do the temperature compensation here. I don't reckon we need to do that. We can. You see that it's 9 degrees Celsius at the airport. We might as well do it. Let's put in 9 degrees. Okay. So basically anything under 16 degrees, 15 degrees and down, you can do the compensation if you want to fly more accurately. And then we need the elevation. So I'm going to use the runway elevation because that's relevant to our flight, which is that one, 1365. And altitude, and there you go. It's a 2-foot difference. All right, now that could be the difference between you eating a crane, like Scotsman said earlier, or not, you know. So it's compensated by 2 foot. Let's go have a look, see. Yes, there you see, there you've got little stars next to your altitude. Those are the compensated altitudes now. If you go to your leg list, you can see those are compensated based upon temperature. And there you go. Now we're done. We are not done. I'm lying. We want to go and find the final approach fix. Right, so there's the runway. That means that is our final approach fix. So what we want to do is we want to put it in memory. And we go to the fix page and we add it in the fix page. And then I go 7 nautical miles, 5 nautical miles, and 3 nautical miles. And this will help the new guys with their flaps and stuff like that. So let's quickly just get this guy back on track. It's going to change just now anyway. All right, so if we just zoom in a little bit, we now go and step through. You'll see the range rings. There you go. There you have the range rings. I'll talk you through it when we get there. There you go. All right, so that's in place. Okay, so we are literally now ready for the descent whenever it's coming, and I just think I noticed that on the ending now. There's the decel point. And we are 70 nautical miles from top of descent. So it's going to be just after that, I suppose. No, it's supposed to be... Oh, there it is. It's just, it was just hidden. There you go. Tommy, yeah, that probably comes from Sasso. The real world guys do it slightly different to what I teach, for the simple reason they've got better experience, okay? The way I do it gives you much more time to be prepared for your landing and to get stable for the landing. If you use the runway, then you've got to think much faster and do much faster. That's all. That's the huge difference between the two. The big difference. I see the real world guys are all still landing on this runway. So we're sticking to it, runway 22. Yes, it will, Flight SuperChat. Yes, that's the whole point of it. That's the reason you want to use it, because that will cause the aircraft to react to the conditions, yes.
Ready for descent procedure.
You do your thing, Linda. We're rooting for you. Yeah, Christer is right. Some of the NOTAMs will give you a code on the runway, and then you must just know how to read the code, and then you can set it up easier as well. Tommy, I changed that. Sorry, my attention was just on another screen. I changed the setting in Active Sky to be Active Sky all the way. It was for a test I did. Let me actually go and change that. Hold on. Options. I don't know if it will change it on the fly. Let's have a look. See. Jet power, they don't simulate the node times. Obviously, they can't go put a hole in a runway or a crane in front of a runway or things like that. There you go. There it's changed, Tommy. Look, it's changing now.
Approach top of descent.
Oh, yeah. Now we have the 10,000 foot separation again. This is now explain real weather, basically. And Active Sky will take over at 10,000 foot. I might as well leave it. I've always flown with hybrid. And then we did tests and took it off. And thank you for reminding me. And you, jet power, you would also need the ability to change objects on the fly while Explain is running. You know, so you're going to end up having issues where you need to literally reload scenery. You know, that's going to create havoc. And there's the descent. It would be cool, but they're going to have to figure out how to reload it without going onto the reload scenery screen every time, you know, and hide it kind of until you need to see it. And then you're going to have a note time at every bloody airport on your route. It's going to kill your CPU and your frames every time they need to quickly dig a hole or add a bulldozer. I'll try flight simmer. Yeah, deer and birds. Yeah, you're all gonna have to buy Western Digital Black, top of the range, fastest speed NVMe drives, you know, to accommodate that, just to start. Can you imagine?
Moet je voorstellen als wij met z'n allen dat plan gevolgd hadden van de runway 04.
Ja, maar weet je...
Hadden ze wel een probleem gehad.
Je gaat via het systeem regelingen niet om.
Hallo. Ek het ook verander. I'm also using 22 now because the real world guys are using 22 and I'm the last one in.
Sure, but I was already on final, so when I saw it, so it was too late. But
he was already on the final leg, so.
But he kept annoying me with messages and telling me I was a very dumb guy. I said.
Telling him to watch Flight Radar 24, Nico.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Listen.
Don't react.
Yeah, we're all buddies here. We can cover each other. Tommy, just look. Yeah, look at the beginning of the stream. I showed you guys how to get it. It's easy. I'll show you. In fact, let me show it now. You go to routes. You load. You go and select your route from the FMS file. And when you go to the map, it's there.
Yeah, I know.
That's for Tommy. Tommy says he doesn't see the route.
Nee, that was for Tommy.
The other thing is, Tommy, you need to be on the latest Avi tab, so go check if you don't need to update yours. So sorry, I'll move out if you don't want me to sit and chat here, but I'm alone downstairs, so I thought I'd join you.
No, you
Well-
stay here.
I'm not 100% sure about that Avitop what I found now, but
Yeah, you have to download the newest.
Yeah.
Be able to work, to have it working.
Yeah.
I'm just short those two. Better push back and have it up.
So you mean to say you got all your marbles back now, Uncle John? They at least
Well,
back.
No, there was still other stuff that I had to put in the car, which is
Okay.
why I didn't use the flights.
No, that's fine. But did you do it offline now? You said you were going to try offline.
Well, I did. I
Mhm.
saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I took off, I did the flight and landed.
Okay. Okay.
we're not blind, Peter, now.
Sorry?
But
Ja, oké.
that's
Ik ben nu offline, zeg ik.
Ja, ik snap.
Ach, ik klets van die gasten.
Yeah, grab it, Scotsman. You need it. Or at least, Tommy, you need it. You must have the latest one. That thing is getting a bit cluttered now. I can't see myself on Ivea Web Eye for some reason. I'm online and all, but
Yeah, me too.
But
I didn't see you.
I didn't see you on the Schiphol as well.
no, there I
But
was
some-
offline. I was offline there.
Sometimes,
Nee,
sometimes
nee,
it helps
nee,
to
you
go
were
online again.
you were standing next to me. I
Yeah.
couldn't see you in WebEye, but somebody told me that you didn't
Okay.
have a plan.
That was the problem. Yeah. Now I've put my plan in. It's there. I can show you on my client, but WebEye doesn't see it at all. So if ATC comes online, I might as well just go offline then. But we'll wait. We'll see. Because I mean, all of you guys have landed. There's no point in me really being online. I think 3/4 of the guys are gone. Yeah, everybody's
Yeah,
gone
they're even-
anyway.
They're even gone, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Nico, sometimes it helps to go offline and go online again and then pick it up again.
Oh yeah, that was the trick.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm
Yeah,
offline
I'm
then.
searching in the meantime.
I'm offline, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
still searching, yeah. Because I was on the wrong page as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's secure?
Avitop. And quit better pushback.
Google is your friend.
Yeah, Google is your friend until you find more options, huh?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, like Bing, DuckDuckGo. Now you've got all the Copilot and Gemini and ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yes, I tell you, it's getting crazy now.
Yeah, it's getting complicated now. Nee, I mean, when you get more results.
Hmm.
John asked me to find the Avitop and the better pushback, but
It should be on the 4 isn't it?
Yeah, I'll put it in the freeware plugins down below for you guys. You can get it there.
I'm doubting if I got the right one.
There, look in freeware plugins. There's AviTap freeware plugins down in Discord. Freeware plugins.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Did you hear that, John?
Sorry, what did you say?
In freeware plugins. Nico put them in freeware plugins.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
That's even better, eh? To have them all there.
Yeah, and then anybody can go fetch them.
Freeware plugins. Assuming that's down the bottom somewhere.
Yeah,
That's the AviTab. And the better pushback, where is that?
same place.
It's on GitHub, no?
No,
that's
no.
underneath. And the better pushback is underneath there, John.
Yes, I've put both of them there. And then what you do is you get the Skunkcraft's updater to keep your better pushback up to date.
Yeah, Skunkcraft is not working at night. Strange, eh?
I haven't got that.
What?
I think it's a version problem. You need to get the better version of Skunkcraft as the standalone, and also you need to get the latest version of the plugins, and then it will work from there onwards, Peter.
Okay, well,
Skymatix VA.
thought I did that, but
Yeah, just try again.
Shared files. Zibo Flight Training.
let me first.
It's under-
Skunkcraft Updater standalone client.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one I downloaded. Yeah.
Uncle John, look for nice to have, and then click on the words nice to have so it expands underneath it, and then you'll see.
Nico, I'm looking in the Discord list.
I know,
I can't find it.
because you need to look for nice to haves. The heading of the file grouping is nice to haves. Look for that. It's right underneath SimChat.
Sim chat.
Then you get nice to haves.
Skymatix channels. VA.
No, go down, go down,
Group flights. IVA on group flights.
go down.
Down, down, down.
Shared flight. Zibo flight training. Sim chat.
Yes, now go down. The next one should be nice to haves.
Ah yes, got that.
Click on nice
It
to
should be
haves.
nice to have.
Yeah.
Freeware plugins, yeah?
Yes, exactly. Then the two at the bottom is what you're looking for.
Landing lights switches
Oh,
on.
sir, you're a star. Again. Better pushback.
Tommy,
Habitat. Yes.
Tommy, this is the Skunkcrafter updater. All right, you download this one. It's a standalone product. You put the exe in your explain root folder. It will then scan your plugins, and if you run it, you can check for available updates. Mine is set to automatically check, and then it will keep all the updates that you have that are listed and compatible with the Skunkcrafter updater. It will tell you, like this one, there's a file missing, and all you do now is you just click update. There you see, easy as that. It updates everything for you, and then when you're done, you just close it.
Approaching transition.
What's Skunkcrafter? Version 3.0.go, yeah.
Because I have so many links to that. Standalone client, updater,
Yeah.
explain reviews.
Yeah, you need to run it on the outside, gents. It needs to run on the outside.
But you have to put it in the explain folder, isn't it?
The exe goes in the explain folder, yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a link to it for you guys here in the stream as well, and I'm gonna put it there in freeware plugins as well. Okay, on Discord, freeware plugins, and
Transition
Yeah,
level.
I see it. Yeah,
Ready for approach checklist.
that's the same I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same.
that's the Skunkcrafter updater. All right, gents,
Thank you.
I'm gonna quickly mute you. Continue. I'm just gonna land. Right. Okay, so I need to talk to you guys about this range ring story now. Right, so the idea behind the range rings is if you reach the first ring, you're going to pull to flaps 5. The next one is going to be, sorry, I'm lying. It's flaps 1, then flaps 5. When you get to the third ring, it's going to be gear down flaps 15. And before you get to the center, it has to be landing flaps. Okay, so we're going to talk through them. Why do you want to see the outside? Oh, yeah, that looks nice. Look at that condensation and all. That's really nice. Did you check the camera there? As I went to the back, it's like the camera got some of that misting on the camera. That was nice. Anyway, right, let's concentrate here. Yo, that sun is bright. I'm going to wait for first ring, that's flaps 1, flaps 5, gear down, flaps 15. And before we get to the center, we want to be in landing configuration. Right, now this is going to be very tight because you can see the anticipation queue is already almost in place. So I'm going to go approach, we'll take the localizer and hopefully that one stays up a little bit. Because the moment that thing catches, that light slope catches, the speed window will open, and the whole idea is to keep the speed window closed for a while, so we don't overload the new guys. Right, so there's the first ring, that's flaps 1. I'm going to just arm my speed brake now. Secure the cabin. Auto brake is done. We're going to keep our eye on the rest as we continue down. Second ring will be flaps 5. Right, there's flaps 5. And there's the glide slope and the speed window open. So now we're going to have to just manage our speed a little bit. I'm going to go all the way down to VREF plus 5 now, so we can get the aircraft to slow down properly. Once we get to the next ring, remember it's gear down, flaps 15. Alright, means gear down, flaps 15. And before we get to center, we want to be, you know, that center ring over there, we want to be, it's our landing flaps, which is flaps 30 that we set. As the speed bleeds off, we're going to just give it a moment and then we'll start pulling more flaps. There you go. Please be careful when you pull your flaps. Once you go into the red, you run the risk of breaking them. Okay, that's a feature of the Zibomod, and you'll see it's broken when you look at your display there. They're going to be there's 2 indicators there, believe it or not, and they're supposed to be one on top of each other, but when you break it, the one will work, the one won't work, basically, and then you're going to have a hell of a time landing this thing. Alright, so gear down, flaps 30, auto brake, speed brake, all armed, and we're ready to land. Basically now we just enjoy the ride down. Okay, one more thing. For those of you that use the facility, there's a setting. First of all, a setting to get your little triangles on the display. Those triangles are my actual throttles. That's my hardware, okay? There's a setting that syncs your throttle and stuff in the EFB. Please read the install guide for more details on that. If you use that setting, you have to physically disconnect your auto throttle, and then you need to move your throttles so that it catches on. You see, it becomes blue. The moment you have control over your engines, it becomes blue. If you do not have control over your engines, you will not be able to pull your reverse thruster. It will not deploy, it will not work, because you are still allowing the Zibo code to handle your engines for you. Okay, so you must please make sure, if you use that specific setting, make sure you get control of your engines before you land. Couple of nice screenshots there.
Approaching 2-2.
Cleared to land runway 22.
500. 400.
Right, autopilot is disconnected. Christer, I'll try.
300. Approaching decision height. 200. Minimums. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed break up.
And these reversers, and we're just going to push them a little bit forward.
Auto brake in use.
Thank you, Tommy. That was a good landing, I think. Thank you, Gabriel. Yeah, we didn't do too bad there.
Yeah. Great landing. You are professional.
Just get out the way and have a quick park. After landing procedure. After landing procedure. Why are you not listening? After landing procedure. Come on, Linda. No, she's refusing. Every now and then it happens. Let's just get it. Come on, no, it's not a command, it's a procedure.
After landing procedure.
Right, so for those of you worried about stats, there you go. That's all the stats. This was actually a brilliant approach and landing. Let's get the APU going. You're welcome, Tommy.
After landing
Christer,
procedure
I'll
complete.
get you a free copy of the Zibo when we update next time. Stoicera, welcome. Hello. Okay, right, that's it. That's it for that. Weather radar is off. Let's go. Thank you, Linda. You have been really good at the end here. Really, really nice flying with you. Right, I'm back.
He's back.
What's the purpose of Scotcraft's updater, Nico?
It keeps everything automatically updated for you every now and then. As updates come, you can use that to update it. Then you don't have to search the thing on the forum, download and install it. It does all of that for you.
Okay, and where do you keep that?
You put the exe in your explain root folder and you make a shortcut somewhere on your desktop. And then every now and then you just run it to make sure that everything is up to date.
Okay.
I just reinstalled it, but re-downloaded it, but he doesn't see any plugins, anything. He doesn't see anything.
And your beta pushback, is that in the explain plugins folder, in the correct folder?
Yes.
Both of those two files, Beta Pushback and Habitat, are in the root.
No,
I gave him the place, but just
okay.
Tell you where I put them.
Okay, let me put it on screen here for you guys. Then you can also just double check that you've got it. Okay, so
It's in the resources plugins folder in the root.
Well, from root you get resources, then plugins. Yes. Okay. Now, if you look at my screen, do me a favor, Uncle John. Look at my screen quickly, and then everybody else can follow as well. while we're talking about it. Okay, so there's my explain. There's the Skunkcrafter Updater EXE. Okay, send a shortcut of that one to your desktop so that you can run it, you know, without having to go through this process of getting here. Okay, that's the first thing.
Okay.
Then resources, plugins. There is better pushback.
And there's Habitat.
Yeah, and there's Habitat there. So better pushback. Obviously, that's what it needs to look like. You must not have an additional folder underneath. It must literally go from plugins, better pushback into better pushback.
Yes.
All right. Now, that file, Peter, Skunkcrafter Updater CFG, must be in your better pushback folder. I'm not sure whether that came with better pushback or whether you had to go and download that file from somewhere and then put it in there. So maybe that's what's missing. That's why it's not seeing it. If your product that you want to update does not contain the CFG as it's there, you won't be able to get the update. Let me just go back and just get it quickly.
Is there a way to create it?
No, you don't create it. You have to get it from one of the two guys. So the best I can do is maybe share it with you.
No, let me check, because I just downloaded a new version, so I can check.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit different than what I had, I think.
Yes, it will
So
be.
I will throw better pushback away now.
Yeah, get a new one. To get that new one, I put in there. Right. So for everybody watching, this is what it looks like once you run it. This is the standalone. You can clearly see my explain is still running. Don't update when explain is still running, because look there, you see that file that was missing is still missing, you know, because it's locked. So what you're going to have to do is make sure explain is not running, then open it and then check for available updates. Anything that is in the list that it can see that needs an update, you can just click update or repair and it will go and get it and do it. Why must it be in the zip? You can't access a file in the zip. That does not make sense at all. You can't have it in a zip.
It does see that better pushback now,
Yeah, exactly. Now it works. Yeah. So you just need...
That's the only plugin. Do you have multiple plugins in there?
Well, I've got multiple products that support the Skunkcrafter update. You understand? So your add-on must be registered and running through this updater. Otherwise, it won't see it. It won't be able to do it.
Understand. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No. Come to the mic. We can't hear you.
The throttle.
Yeah.
Assembly. Do I have to load any software for that?
Yes.
What?
On the Honeycomb website, there is software. You also put it in the resources plugins. Oh, come on, man. It's called the AFC bridge.
Right, all right. Okay. And that's a tonic cloud.
Honeycomb, yeah. It's called the AFC bridge here, as you can see on my screen. I'm not sure what it's called there. It's probably not called AFC bridge, but you just look. It's for Explain 11, but it works in 12 as well.
Okay.
All right, and then there's a portion that you need to install, and as far as I know, it puts the AFC bridge in there for you, and then we work through it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so let me go and wait. I need to do the shutdown thing first. Let's quickly do the shutdown, and then I can file my flight plan and stuff.
Ready for shutdown procedure.
Right, so before we do that, let me just go and show you guys. If we now go to airside services, right, we need to do the shutdown procedure to a point where it will allow the disembarkment of the passengers. So you have to have your beacon light off. You have to release your passengers here with your little switches at the top. parking brake needs to be set. The engines need to spool down to a certain place. There's a couple of, requirements, and then you'll see if the gate can move, it will move. There's the door opening, there the unloading starts, so on and so forth. And that's it. That is the end. Now we can just file the flight. And it's done. So I hope that was good for you guys. Thank you so much. I saw the numbers during the stream was all 30 plus. So I'm really impressed with you guys. Thank you for sticking around and being interested in what I want to share with you. So you guys have fun. I'm going to go back studying now for the rest of this day, and then after tomorrow things will be better. Yeah. No, come to the mic. We can't hear you.
He said, good luck for tomorrow if I don't speak to you before.
Yeah, sure. No, we will. Thank you guys. You guys have fun.
Good luck. I have to go also. Bye-bye.
Bye.